At the beginning of the movie, we see a man named Chie leaning over a glass chamber. The story flashes back to the first time he met Lunthom. He narrates, "I knew we were meant to be together. Every time I look at you, I see the most beautiful thing, and I can't help but feel like the luckiest man in the world." They are then shown getting married. He continues, "I made a promise to myself that I would do everything to make you the happiest woman alive. But one day, Lunthom fell gravely ill and remained unconscious for a long time. Everyone advised him to move on, but he refused, saying he believed in miracles. For him, she would always be by his side. Even when she stopped breathing, he vowed to stay beside her. Eventually, she passed away, and he says he will love her until her very last breath."
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
Then we see a woman named Roz packing her things on her last day at the office. Back at home, her mother calls, insisting that she wants to meet Rose's boyfriend to discuss marriage. Rose says he's busy and ends the call when her friends arrive. On the way out, one of her friends asks how her boss died. Rose tells them it was due to health issues. This is where we learn that Lunthom was her boss. Later, they are seen partying and dancing in a club when Roz suddenly sees the ghost of a woman startling her. She tells her friends she's going to the washroom. On her way, she realizes the club is completely empty. Fear grips her as she feels someone following her, but when she turns around, no one is there. Suddenly, her hair is yanked back and she jolts awake, gasping for breath. She wakes up and sees Chie in the kitchen. He asks why she looks so frightened. Rose replies that this is the first time she has woken up to see him. He reassures her, saying from now on it will be just the two of them. Ross then tells him her mother wants to meet him. He says they'll do that after Lunthom's funeral, which leaves Roz a little upset. Chie explains that he wants to marry her and asks her to pack her bag. When she asks why, he says it's a surprise. He wants to take her somewhere. Hearing this, Roz feels happy. The next day, Chie stops by their office, telling Roz he needs to collect something and asks her to wait in the car. A flashback shows how they first met. Chie offered her a cigarette, and though she knew he was married to her boss Lunthom, she had a crush on him. Chie in turn flirted back. In the present, a woman hands Chie some documents left by Lunthom. She advises him to follow the agreement carefully, review everything, and not hesitate to ask if anything is unclear. As they begin their journey, Roz asks where they're going. Chie replies that they're heading to a place where they don't have to care what others think. Roz says she quit her job because she trusts him the most. On the way, they see villagers preparing for a ritual, and the shaman glares at them with anger. Frightened, Roz tells Chie to drive away quickly. They finally arrive at a beautiful house in the woods. Rose asks how much the rent is per day, but Chev tells her it's their house. He bought it for her after she once said she didn't want to live in a small room. Hearing this, Rose is overjoyed. That night, while Roz is making drinks, she notices the shaman performing some kind of ritual outside their house. Alarmed, she calls Chie, who grabs his rifle and drives the shaman away. We then sense a presence in the house, silently watching Rose and Chie. As they talk, one thing leads to another, and they grow intimate. Later, as Roz relaxes in the bathtub, sinking fully into the water, Lunthom's ghost appears, haunting her and leaving her terrified. Later, while sleeping, Roz senses a presence and is startled to find Chie missing from the bed. She goes downstairs searching for him, and the door creaks open on its own. As she ventures further, she discovers a cottage. Inside, she finds a strange setup and eventually sees Lunthom's corpse preserved in a glass chamber. Chie immediately tries to calm her. She asks, "Why is Lunthom's body here?" He explains that it's necessary. Lunthom included it in her will. Chie must stay with the corpse for 100 days. Only then will everything become theirs. Ross asks if the house isn't theirs yet. Chie says it will be. They just have to endure this condition in the will. Hesitant, Roz listens as he assures her she just needs to stay with him, ignore the corpse, and not step into the room. Once everything is theirs, they will get married. A flashback then shows Lunthom alone in her office, hearing a noise. Peeking through a door, she discovers Chie being intimate with Rose. Shocked and devastated, Lunthom later confronts Chie at home about a note she found in his pocket that reads, "Returning your cigarette." When she asks whose note it is, he lies, saying it belongs to a male friend. She counters, asking why he is lying to her. Chie replies that she shouldn't doubt him so much and stop pressuring him, as it's becoming stressful to be with her. He complains that all she does is work all day, leaving them with no personal life, and asks if she is truly satisfied with this life. Concerned, Lunthom asks if his affair is because of her. He denies it and apologizes. Lunthom forgives him, saying, "Let's work this out together." The next morning, Lunthom takes him to the same place where Chie and Roz are currently staying. She is doing all this to save her relationship. She tells him that this is their house. They will be together, just the two of them. She adds that the Lunthom tree in front of the house will symbolize their love, stable and strong. In the present, Roz wakes up. Chie beside her tells her that today he will show her the prettiest view around. Later, while she's preparing food, Lunthom's ghost is seen moving around the house. It drifts toward the kitchen where Roz is, but when she turns, no one is there. Suddenly, the ghost appears behind her, grabs her hand, and forces her to chop her own hand. Rose freezes in fear until Chie calls out to her. Chie then takes her deep into the woods and leads her to a high vantage point to show her the view. She remarks on how beautiful their house looks from there, but notices the Lunthom tree in front of it and says it seems inauspicious. Chie reassures her that he will replace it with a different tree. On the way back, Roz notices a different cottage and asks about it. Chie says it's for storage, but she insists on seeing it. Despite Chie's protests, she goes inside and finds a painting of Lunthom. Upset, she demands that Chie paint a picture of her as well. The scene shifts to Chie painting Rose by the river. She keeps asking him to make her look especially beautiful. Just then, a strange reflection appears in the water, and suddenly Chie becomes so absorbed in painting that he doesn't even respond to Rose. Ross then notices that he has drawn Lunthom instead of her and, furious, storms out. Later that night, Roz calls him for dinner and teases him, suggesting the food probably isn't as good as his ex-wife's cooking. He explains that he was with Lunthom for 7 years and was forced to draw her every day, to the point where he didn't want to draw anymore. He sits next to Rose, trying to soothe her and make amends. Later that night, while Roz is sleeping, Lunthom's hand runs over her. Multiple hands grab her body, cover her mouth, and push her into the bed. She suddenly jolts awake, terrified, and turns to see Lunthom's ghost beside her, only to realize it's Chie, who immediately comforts her. Rose says she saw Lunthom, and he reassures her, "Don't worry, I'm here with you." The next day, Roz asks Chie if they can stay somewhere else and return later. He acknowledges her fear and promises to light incense and purify the house. He admits that even he doesn't want to live with a corpse, but if she refuses to stay, they will lose everything. He reveals that the will requires both of them to remain in the house for 100 days, or they forfeit all possessions. Rose questions whether he wants her to stay because he truly wants to be with her, or just for the money. Chie admits he wants to be with her, but also doesn't want to lose everything. He reassures her that they'll have it all soon, their lives and their home, and that she just needs to endure a little while. Rose protests, saying Lunthom is haunting her. Chie promises that he will protect her, and nothing will happen to her. The scene cuts to Lunthom's ghost standing in front of her painting, tears streaming from her eyes. A flashback shows Lunthom descending the stairs, crying and collapsing from sudden illness. Later, a doctor informs Chie that this is the 3rd time she has fallen into a deep sleep with no identifiable cause. She can sleep for days at a time, with no sign of when she will wake, and he advises taking special care, warning that she might die at any moment. While Chie is cleaning Lunthom, Roz arrives at their house, asking where he has been all this time. Chie explains that he had to take care of Lunthom, which angers Roz. He assures her that he only loves her. Even while asleep, Lunthom seems to hear him, and a tear falls from her eye. A few days later, when Lunthom returns to the office, she notices Roz there. Later, Lunthom approaches her and warns her to get out of their life, or she might die. Rose replies that she doesn't think Lunthom should be saying that to her. The scene cuts to Lunthom drinking at home. When Chie arrives, he notices she is smoking. Reminding her she's allergic, he snatches the cigarette and puts it out. She asks him to separate, shocking him. She says she's given him enough chances already. Chie reminds her they were supposed to be together forever, but she replies that all she has in life is him. She's done everything for them, and all she asks in return is his loyalty. How hard is that? Chie coldly says he's going to bed. She warns him that he came with nothing and will leave with nothing, then tells him to go to Rose. He snaps back that she can't survive without him and reveals the reason he chose Rose. Life with Lunthom is unbearable. As Lunthom collapses, Chie continues, accusing her of controlling him, forcing him into submission, making their home feel like a prison. She begs for help, but he stands by and watches as she dies in pain. In the present, Roz smokes near Lunthom's corpse and puts out her cigarette on the glass chamber. Later, Roz and Chie are seen having a good time and happily dancing when she suddenly spots Lunthom's ghost outside the window. The ghost suddenly appears before her, strangling her. Lunthom screams and throws her off just as Chie rushes in and sees her bleeding. He runs to fetch medicine. Furious, Rose storms into the cottage and smashes Lunthom's glass chamber. Chie arrives in time to stop her. She yells at him, demanding why he keeps protecting Lunthom instead of her. Just then, she sees Lunthom's ghost behind them. Chie insists there's nothing there and accuses her of lying. "You think I'm crazy?" Roz shouts. Chie tells her yes. He says he's doing everything for them and warns her never to enter the room again. The next morning, Roz wakes and sees Chie leaving the house in his car. As soon as he's gone, Lunthom's unseen spirit moves toward her and suddenly kicks her. It grabs her leg and drags her across the floor. Rose struggles, trying to hold on to something, and finally grabs a wooden railing, only for a nail jutting out of the wood to pierce her hand. The spirit yanks her again, tearing her skin, and drags her down the stairs. Roz manages to break free and rushes to the door, but it slams shut. The spirit seizes her face, squeezing with brutal force before hurling her aside, shattering her tooth. Suddenly the TV flickers on, showing Lunthom's ghost walking inside the screen, which then she appears outside the window, then vanishes, only to reappear upstairs. Advancing toward Rose, Roz grabs a knife, only to see it's Chie standing there. He calms her down as she insists that Lunthom's ghost attacked her, even hurt her. But Chie sees no injuries and tells her everything is normal. Rose yells that the ghost is trying to kill her, but Chie, frustrated, shouts back that he sees nothing wrong. He explains he had only gone out for medicine, tells her to eat and rest. Days pass, and Roz begins to lose her grip on reality. One night, she returns to the cottage and finds dozens of candles burning. To her horror, she sees Chie being intimate with Lunthom's corpse. She rushes to stop him, only to realize it was a hallucination. Chie angrily reminds her that he warned her never to enter the room. Roz looks at Lunthom's body, and the scene cuts to the shaman performing a ritual at her request. Worms begin to crawl over Lunthom's preserved corpse, while Chie frantically tries to clean her. Meanwhile, the shaman sets the Lunthom tree on fire. Realizing what's happening outside, Chie grabs his rifle and drives the shaman and his followers away. Rose screams that the shaman was helping them, that he was driving Lunthom's spirit away. Chie snaps, yelling there is no ghost. When Roz asks if he is protecting Lunthom, he explodes, saying he is tired of guarding a corpse and that Rose is useless to him. Furious, Roz packs her bags to leave. Chie tries to stop her, insisting he doesn't love Lunthom. He reminds her that she has no job, no money, and that they've already endured nearly 100 days. The house is about to be theirs. Roz says she can't take it anymore. Breaking down, Chie admits he let Lunthom die just to be with her. In tears, he begs Roz not to leave, saying if she goes, he'll have nothing left. But Rose storms out, takes the car, and drives away. Then Lunthom's ghost silently appears behind him.
You're still watching? Good. Like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror.
On her way, Roz is lost in deep thought and narrowly escapes an accident. Crying, she decides to return to Chie. When she enters the house, she finds him sitting in the bathtub. She sits beside him, apologizes, and expresses her love, assuring him that no matter what comes their way, they will face it together. Chie, however, tells her she shouldn't have come back. To calm him down, Roz offers to give him a haircut since his hair has grown long. As she leaves to fetch the tools, Chie begins scratching his finger against the wood. While Roz cuts his hair, he keeps scratching until his nail tears off. Chie asks, "Do you know how tormented I was that day?" Roz tells him not to feel guilty and to let bygones be bygones and goes to get his medicine. Then Lunthom's ghost appears walking behind her. Suddenly, Rose notices Chie heading upstairs. She hears a strange noise and cautiously follows, only to see Chie standing at a distance. As she approaches, she's horrified to find him wearing Lunthom's gown and charging at her with a knife. Rose runs for her life, throwing a cup at him in desperation. Enraged, Chie attacks with the knife, but Roz manages to grab it. Smiling eerily, he drags the blade across Rose's hand before tossing her aside. He lifts her by the neck and slams her against the wall. In the mirror, Lunthom's reflection replaces Chie's as he laughs, strangling Rose. Desperate, she stabs his shoulder with a shard of glass and escapes. Chie, smiling, pulls the shard out. Rose grabs a rifle and shoots him in the leg, but he continues walking toward her. She rushes to the car but finds it locked. Chie appears and then haunts her in Lunthom's form. Terrified, Roz flees into the woods and hides beneath a tree. His voice echoes as he calls her name. Then silence falls, until he suddenly appears behind her. She runs until she reaches a riverbank. Chie catches her by the hair and hurls her into the water. He grabs her neck, and Roz fights back, but he smashes her head against a rock. She gasps, "Do you think killing me will bring you back to him?" Enraged, Chie repeatedly slams her head against the rock until she collapses, her body sinking beneath the water. At that moment, Chie transforms into Lunthom, saying, "I am not going to let you die." The scene cuts to Roz, trapped inside a glass chamber. She sees Lunthom circling around, screeching her nails along the glass before vanishing. Blood begins dripping from above, and Lunthom reappears to torment her. The chamber suddenly opens, and as Roz tries to escape, Lunthom shoves her down the stairs, leaving her badly injured. Writhing in pain, Roz begs her to let both her and Chie go. Lunthom screams so loudly that the glass shatters, then grabs Roz's head, hissing, "Why don't you go be together then?" The scene shifts outside, where Roz lies helpless as Lunthom drags her away. Her chilling voice over-echoes. "Do you truly believe your story with Chie will end happily? Since you refuse to walk away, you must now accept your fate. How tragic that you let the words of a man you have no claim to define your worth. This is where your story ends, for daring to force your way into our lives." Then we see Lunthom in Chie's form dragging her. In the end, both Chie and Lunthom are seen inside the glass chamber. Chie, still alive, screams in horror at the sight of Lunthom's rotting corpse beside him. Her decaying hands melt away as water from her body drips onto Rose, lying below the chamber. With this chilling image, the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.